Good morning. I am coming at you today again from the driveway. I'm at home again because I've got a little bit of maintenance to do. This is something I've talked about a couple of times in a couple of different videos, but I've never specifically made a video just about this. And so if it was something you were looking for, you would have overlooked it. You never would have found it. Today, I'm doing a little bit of maintenance on the winch. If you watched my last video, and of course you watched my last video because why wouldn't you have? You would have watched me winching out of a mud hole that was like this deep, and it was sticky mud, and it was horrible. And Janky actually dropped down and the tires fell down into the mud, and the belly plate was right down on top of this sticky mud, and I had to drag it for, I don't know, it's probably 40 feet or 50 feet out of this mud hole. So in doing that, I had to unwind the winch really far, and it was dragging in the mud and it was nasty. And you can see from looking down in here at the spool, when it spooled back up, it was all pulling from one side, and so it's all kind of piled up on one side. You gotta take this back apart, get it cleaned back up, and get it ready to use again. So what I'm gonna do today, it's actually, you can see it's spooled up far enough, I don't think I can actually pull it out on my own. I'm gonna go ahead and hook up to a tree here, back the truck up so I can unspool the entire winch so I can get all of that winch line out. Then I'm gonna clean it, inspect it, make sure everything's good. I'll show you how to do this at every step of the process, and then we're gonna wind it back up using that same tree and make sure that it goes back on the spool correctly so it's usable the next time I'm on the trail. So let's go ahead and get hooked up. Let's get rolling. Okay, so we're gonna start by turning this lever from the locked mode, which is, this controls the clutch on the winch, and we're gonna turn that up here into free spool mode so that we can pull the line out of the bumper there and release it from the winch. There we go. Now we're ready to pull it out. And because you can see that the winch line has spooled all the way up on one side, extremely tight, it's very hard to pull. So really I'm just gonna pull it kind of out far enough a little bit here that I can get it hooked up to the tree. Okay, let's get the tree saver around the tree. And you'll see on the tree saver itself, you've got this little sleeve that is adjustable. You always want to put this at the very back of the tree so that if the strap itself wants to move a little bit, it doesn't cut and grind on the tree. It's actually protected by that little sleeve. So put that in place every time. We're just gonna feed each loop, each end of the strap through the D-ring. Just like so. Remember as well that when you secure this pin and you're screwing it in, don't screw it in and tighten it up all the way, because if this kind of wiggles around and it tightens that up a tiny bit more, you're not going to be able to get it loose, or at least it'd be really difficult to. So you just kind of snug it in, back it up maybe a quarter turn, just so it's real easy to turn. You can see right there, but it's still fully engaged in the back side. That's very secure. This isn't going to come apart. And you can see even way down in here, and it's almost all the way out. You see all that dirt that's in there? We got to get all that cleaned out. Okay, from here, you can actually see as I'm pulling it, that's all the way down to the base layer. You can see right down here, the drum is starting to be exposed, so I don't want to pull it out any farther. So let's go ahead and get what we got here all cleaned up, and then we'll reverse the process and pull it back in. So the bucket might be a little bit large, but you know it's gonna hold the entire length of that winch cable. And so I'm just gonna start cleaning it up and putting it down into the water as I'm cleaning it. And then when it gets all the way to the other end, I'll pull it back out, set it on the tree, wind it back in. So cleaning the winch line itself Nothing too difficult, nothing too glamorous. You just want to, as you're cleaning it, make sure you inspect it, look at it for any frays, whatever. Make sure that it's not cut or scraped or damaged anywhere that could fail the next time you're out on the trail. Because the last thing you want is to have to rescue yourself off the trail just to have your rope break in half, right? So as we're cleaning this, we're just going to kind of put it down into the water. Going to kind of swish it around, and then you're going to start opening it up. And when I say opening it up, you can see the braided texture of the fibers. As you push that together, you can see how it opens that braid up, and then you can clean out all of the dirt from inside of there. And so I'll take this and just kind of swish it around in the water, and then in the water I'll push it together like this and kind of, you know, go in and out and in and out, in and out and in and out, a little bit like this, and it just kind of washes the rope inside and out. Because if you've got dirt down inside of these braids, you know, as you drive down the road and everything wiggles and wiggles and wiggles, the dirt inside of the rope will cut the rope from the inside out. So make sure you get the whole thing clean. And this is going to take a while. I've got the whole rope done now, and that took me, I don't know, probably took me 20 minutes, maybe half an hour to get the whole thing done. You can see that the water's all muddy, and I got this extra protection sheath. That's all cleaned up. Everything's ready to go. So now I'm going to stretch it back out, and I'm actually going to take it down the driveway here where it's nice and clean instead of doing it over there in the dirt. So I'm going to switch up my tree strap over to a different tree over here, and we'll get it done over there. All right, so I went ahead and fed it in just a little bit so that I could get the truck out of the street and talk to you guys and kind of show you this is where I'm at. You can see there as it's winding in on the spool, it's doing a much better job. It's nice and tight and even, and that's what you want. You want the rope to be nice and tight on the drum. You want the rolls to be right and tight next to each other so that the rope doesn't ever have a chance to kind of bind within itself or next to itself or what have you. You can also see that I am pulling the truck uphill. It's not a huge uphill, right? It's a little bit of an uphill, but it's just enough that it keeps a lot of tension on the rope with the weight of the vehicle all the way up there. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep on going, get this finished up. So now I've got it winched all the way back in. It's nice and tight on the drum. You can actually see it's very well organized on the drum. Everything's nice and tight. You can see it's not rubbing the spacer bar that goes up there. So the next time I go to use it, it's gonna be real easy to use. It'll pull right out. It packages well, and it'll stay a lot cleaner when it's super tight on the drum as opposed to being loose. I've also got it pre-tensioned so that the hook is actually pulled tight in so it keeps everything tight. You see a lot of guys that will, like, you know, put their hook over here and it's just kind of dangling and hanging, and that will allow the coils to kind of loosen up, and that will allow a lot of dirt to get in there and let everything kind of get misspaced, so when you go to use it, it can actually get knotted up as you're trying to pull it out. Also, just kind of as a side note, for everyone who was saying, well, how come when you were pulling up the thing and what was going to happen if the rope broke and then you'd hit the neighbor's car with your truck? I actually had the parking brake set to like 2 clicks, so it'd still roll, but it wouldn't be able to roll backwards on its own. So the winch had to pull it all the way up the hill. So normally you would do this with 2 people, but unfortunately my beautiful camera assistant had to go into town today and wasn't able to help me out. Now all I got to do is kind of wrap everything up and get everything put away, and then I think I'm gonna It might be sacrilegious. So let's not say I'm not gonna wash janky, right? We're not gonna wash janky, but I'm probably gonna take the pressure washer to it, just knock all the extra mud off, because I still have to lay down underneath the truck and make sure that when I was dragging it through that big pit of mud that I didn't mess anything up underneath. So that sort of concludes the video on how to, you know, take your winch out, clean it up, keep it maintained. This is something that you need to do at the very least every single time you use your winch. You get it out there and you get it muddy, you get it dirty. You need to make sure you reset it correctly on the drum so the next time you need to use it, it is available for use. Hopefully this was helpful. Any questions, whatever, shoot them to me, comments down below, or you can tell me I'm stupid for almost crashing into the sheriff car if the thing would have broke. As always, if you liked the video, please click the like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. And I really appreciate the help moving this channel along and getting us closer to being able to do this a whole lot more. I know it's what everybody says, but it really is the dream to just go ahead and get doing this full time and be able to be out in nature and all of this beauty. Look at this. Look at all that green. Look at that. Look how nice it is around here. Look at, oh, I love it here. Thank you so much for watching. See you on the next one.